Hello again everyone, how are you? Hope you're fine. Now in the first lesson we looked at IELTS in general and what the IELTS writing task 1 was about, and I explained to you what we were going to do in the rest of the course. Now we're going to get down to some serious work, okay? So you need to be concentrating on this, okay, because this is where we're going to start learning all of the language. Today it's about the vocabulary that you need to describe trends. Okay, so if you're paying attention, we can start. If you're feeling a little bit sleepy, then go off and get yourself some caffeine, maybe a strong cup of espresso, and we can start. So what are we going to look at today exactly? Well, first of all, we're going to look at what a trend actually is. We're going to describe what a trend is. And then we're going to identify how IELTS presents these trends to you, so the diagrams that IELTS uses to ask you to describe trends. Then, looking at these trends in more detail, we're going to look at trends which go up and trends which come down. And also, there are some kind of trends which don't go up or down, some trends which are a combination of more than one trend, and so we need to know the language that we use to describe those. And when we're looking at trends in particular, whether they go up or down, we need to describe how they're going up and how they're going down. So are they going up quickly or slowly, or is there a large movement or a small movement over time? Now, first of all, what is a trend? Now, I decided just to give you the Cambridge Advanced Learners Dictionary definition of what a trend is, and we'll look at that a little bit more. And a trend is basically a general development or change in a situation, or it's a general development in the way that people behave. So, for example, a situation started in one way in the past, and moving into the future, there's a different situation. So a trend is basically analysing how that situation has changed over a period of time. Okay, so time is a very key aspect in understanding what a trend is. About the way people behave, well, simply it could be populations, or it could be the way they buy things, it could be the way they feel about different things. And this development is also happening over a period of time. So if it's population, what was the population a few years ago, and what is the population now, and how has that population changed? To give you a couple of examples, we could look at the following. Surveys show a trend away from home ownership towards rented accommodation. Basically meaning that in the past, a large number of people bought their own homes, but now fewer people are buying their own homes, and they now prefer to rent their accommodation for whatever reason. Maybe it's to do with the expense of buying a new house. Another example we have, there's been a downward or upward trend in sales in the last few years. So it could be sales in any product. So in the past, sales were X amount, but now they are different. So the sales could be more now or less now. Okay, so we've got this idea of what a trend is, but how does IELTS actually present these trends for you to answer in a question in writing task 1? Well, they can be in various formats. First of all, we've got a line graph. First key point to notice is that on the x-axis, you've got the time period. So we are measuring what's happening to a variable from the beginning of the period to the end of the period, okay, and how that changes. In this particular line graph, the variable starts at 0. At the end of the first year, it moves up. At the end of the second year, it moves up again, and up again. So an upward trend, basically. Trends could also be expressed in terms of a graph or a table, and this is an example of a table, and in the columns of the table you can see the time period that we're talking about. Okay, so this one is 1975 to 2005, and if you look at the population of Betchbury, you can see that there is a change in the population over the period that we're talking about. Okay, so from